So I've got the crossfire receiver bound to the crossfire transmitter, and I'm happy with that. There's a little touch and go there. Not much information about that one out there for me. Now I am going to go in. Oops, I got my radio problem straightened out, where I'm getting full range of output from my transmitter. We'll just go ahead and turn that on. Again,
welcome to OpenTX.
I've got the
switch warning
fan on the platform because everything powers up. It just gets hot. There's just nothing else to say. Keep it cool. When it's flying through the air, it stays cool. I got this fan because my little Mavic Mini original was getting warm too. So let's plug this in. Put it down in the fan. We've got our radio here. First thing I'd like to just show real quick is, oops, in the telemetry section of the radio, like I said, this is communicating CRSF, so I can come to, oops, I can come down here now and say discover new sensors. Let's go back to the top of the screen. Oops, there we go. Discover new sensors, click, and I've got 10. I know there's link quality, transmit quality, receive quality. Looks like a lot of them have to do just with the, here's your transmitter power, with the RC link between this transmitter and platform. But I'll take any kind of telemetry that I can get, and we'll look at those values deeper later. So I did get that. Now, if we go up on the screen, you can see that we're connected again to the platform. We'll go into ports real quick. This USB VCP, don't touch that. That's the USB connection we're communicating with the quad on right now. Mess with that and suddenly you can connect the USB cable, but nothing happens. You try to even do a DFU, reinstall the firmware, it won't work because you basically turned off the COM port. Going to be a real pain in the butt to get that one fixed. UART1 in this platform is set up for the serial RX or the crossfire, as the case may be. No configuration at all, auto. Now this, I do understand, has the soft serial for the smart audio in the video transmitter. So I think that's what's going on right here, and right here is where it has been set up for TBS smart audio, so I can control the video transmitter with my handheld RC transmitter and configure it with those sticks while looking at the display in my goggles. Very, very nice. So I have to come back and revisit how to get this working. We're not going to change anything here. Just look at configuration real quick. This does work. So this, all as it came out of the box, does work. I'm not going to change any of that right now. When I flew it, it didn't seem to have a barometer. if it doesn't have some of these functions that some of these switches are turned on for, it's not going to break it. It's not going to make it not fly, that kind of thing. So I don't think there's a magnetometer in it. I don't know at this point. I'll look that up. I know there's an accelerometer in it. Anyway, so far right now I'm leaving all of these at the values where they came out of the box. Some of them I really do want to play with, like where is it? Can't find it. Anyway, some of these down here on the beeper configuration I might change. Right now, this one I probably would do a little bit with. Anyway, let's look at power and battery. Minimum cell voltage 3.3, maximum warning cell voltage. I like those values, but it wasn't really what I saw in the OSD during my first flight. Oops, getting ahead of myself, aren't I? The PIDs for how it responds to your inputs, I am going to leave here. I am not going to play with this at all right now. I don't know if there's a way to do in-flight tuning. We'll see that later. Receiver was one of the big places I came in here. You remember my last video, I didn't have my mode switches set up and stuff. So on aux 1 now, you can see when I flip the switch, I go from 988 microsecond pulse to 1900 microsecond pulse as far as the pulse width on that output. Most people just think of it as numbers, 1500 being the center point. So that is my arm and disarm switch on aux 1 that I had trouble in my last video and had to stop and set back up on my transmitter in my hand. Had this been set up, I wouldn't have had that problem in the last video. So there we have aux 1. That's my arm switch. We have aux 2. Here's my mode switch. That's a 3-position switch that goes from 988 at the bottom, 1500 in the center position, 2011 in the bottom position. aux 3 is the beeper. It's a 3-position switch again, so it has those same 3. aux 4 is, what was that? aux 4. What did I set that up for? aux 4, I left at the value it was, and I'll get into that in a second. I think this is my smart audio, so I have to get back into that. So real quick, we'll go back. And so I did get the aux 4 put together in the radio, so that is working. Now I did do an aux 5, but it doesn't work. And I think that would be because this flight controller is limited to 8 channels of RC, or the Crossfire Nano receiver is set up for only 8 channels. So this was for a function that seemed to be set up in the platform as it came out of the box, what we call turtle mode. When it's upside down on the ground, you can flip turtle mode real quick and it'll flip it right side up. It just knows how to do it. I do want that function. I'd like to play with that function. I probably have to play with that function a lot more than I want to. But I couldn't get the 9th channel working. My radio does 14, Crossfire does a bunch. We'll look at that again in just a second. So coming to the next one is the modes. So again, on my aux 1, it's actually RC channel 5, you can see here when I flip that switch, I go into arm disabled. In other words, this is armed. This is with arm disabled. In other words, it will fly. So this is disarmed. I'm sorry. This is disarmed in truth, and this is armed. It's not the way the thing looks. And anyway, I have it working. The next channel was my modes channel, and that's set up rather strangely. If you're familiar with iNav, Clean Flight, Betaflight, there's 2 modes right here, and we're going to use the same aux channel, RC6 in technical terms. And what it is as it is right now with the switch in the low position, doing the 900 and what is it, 988 pulse width, right down here below 1,000. It's in manual mode, in my humble opinion. When we go into the center position on that switch, horizon mode comes on, because that's the 1500 center position. You can go back here and see 1500 now. And then when we go in the top position, we jump up to 2011. We're in angle mode. So angle mode, center position, horizon mode, manual mode. That's my understanding how this works. The beeper, as I said, I had on aux 3, RC channel 7, and although I don't hear the beeper right now, you see that's moving. It's a 3-position switch, so I do get 3 values. We all know that if I want to make it a 2-position function, I'll just grab this slider, slide it to here, and now it's within that range, even when it's in the center position. It works as beeper on. This was the flip over after crash, which I consider turtle mode, that I put on aux 5. It was actually, I can't remember, I think, yeah, it was on aux 5, because it seemed to be turned on in the platform as it came out of the box. But because I can't go to RC9 right now, I can't implement this. So again, the switch doesn't function here if I flip it. Now the aux 4, which was my smart audio, does work. There we go. But I have to look that up and figure out the smart audio. I may have been playing with it as it is right now and turning it on right now and change some things in the camera, for all I know. I did hide all the other modes. But if I click here and go back out, there, head free, fail safe, all of those I'll be setting up in the future. Camera controls, all sorts of stuff. Some of them might not be used. Pit mode can be pretty useful. Disabling the video transmitter could be pretty useful too. I wouldn't have to have a fan on it right now. But these were the ones that were set up out of the box. And like I say, I'm going to have to look and see if I can get aux 5 working. Can get aux 4. That's 8 channels of RC. Aux 5 I know works on this transmitter and receiver. I just don't know if it works inside. I guess we'll look at that at the end of this video real quick. So that kind of gave me my modes. The motors, I didn't do anything with this. I did click this and then run a motor up when I had the battery connected early in the day. The OSD needs a lot of setup. I'm going to have to come in here and just set it up. I didn't dislike what was in it. I just didn't understand why some of the things were blinking, and need to find and fix the values on that. Video transmitter. I'll have to look at this and see how this is set up. LED strip, I don't know that it has one. Black's box, I'll have to set that up. So that's basically what I did to get it ready to fly. Real quick, I'm going to
Receiver still connected.
shut down my radio. I'm going to take the Crossfire module out of the back of the radio. I'm going to hook the Crossfire module to, come on out of there. New USB connectors. I'm going to hook the Crossfire module to my computer. I'm going to jump out of this real quick, and I'm going to go into TBS Agent X and see what's going on with that Crossfire receiver. This has nothing really to do with the Meteor75 as much as it has to do with how was the little Crossfire Nano RX. How is it set up? Okay. Is it set up just for 8 channels? Yes, it's set for 8 channel mode. Telemetry on. Dynamic fail safe. Oh, got Mavlink over RC turned on. Output map, look real quick. Output 1 is the Crossfire CRSF transmit. Output 2 CRSF RX. Yep, there you go. 4 is the smart audio out. I don't use these 2. Channel map 1 through 8. I hope this doesn't get me in trouble, but I'm going to go back now and I'm going to put this receiver in 12 channel mode. This has nothing to do with the little BETAFPV Meteor75. So now that I have done that, I'm going to come back out of this. I'm going to unplug my quad so it resets, plug it back in, and then I'm going to go back into TBS Agent and make sure that change stayed. These are all the receivers and stuff I have set up, and I'm not going to get deep into this one right now, but with Crossfire you can set it so that if you have multiple receivers working off of a transmitter or multiple transmitters on multiple receivers, by using this cloud software, all your receivers will get updated when a new update comes out, and you update like the transmitter. Next time they touch, it will update to the current version right here of the firmware. That's just one of the reasons I like Crossfire so much. And I don't have to go rebind. Okay, we're still in 12 channel modes, so we'll shut that down. We'll unplug the Crossfire transmitter from the computer. We'll put the Crossfire transmitter back in the back of the TX16. Fire it back up. And
Welcome to OpenTX.
On the screen, we'll go back
Throttle warning.
into Betaflight.
Switch warning.
And connect to our platform and go back into receiver. Let's see if that channel works. Ah, look at that. Now I have 9 channels working. So that was it. The Crossfire receiver ships in 8 channel mode instead of 12 channel mode. So now I've got 4 AERT is what it shows there. That's not really the way it's working. It's working like, oh, right down through here is what I was reading. It's working in AETR mode. Aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder for channels 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this can be many different things. So that's 4 channels. Aux 1 is the 5th, 2 is the 6th, Aux 3 is the 7th, Aux 4 is the 8th RC channel, Aux 5 is the 9th RC channel. This would be 10th, 11, and 12. So I could do 3 more channels on this. So now if we come over to modes and look at flip over after crash, that is now working for me. I'm not sure if it's implemented here or it's turned off here, but we'll figure that out. So now I do have those 5 switches working. I can play with turtle mode, etc. So that answers that question. So I guess we're ready for quadcopter's first flight.